This week on the Digital Coffee, is it the end of sharing Instagram feed posts to stories? Facebook adapts to the Apple adpocalypse, and Google are adding a little something to search results. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to the Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. I almost forgot to hold my mug up. If you are watching on Facebook, you know, if you comment on this broadcast, you will get sent by messenger a copy of the Digital Coffee newspaper. And for those of you that have been missing the messenger bot notifications, they may be coming back. We're going to talk about that next week as it's breaking news and I need to investigate it further. We've got lots of news for you today. Oh, if you don't know what to comment, tell me what's in your mug. Or you could answer our question of the week. Have you ever considered, or do you have a Wikipedia listing for your business? Or you could just say hello, like Kate has. Good morning to Kate. Good morning to Katie Simpson. Katie, did you have some good news yesterday? Did you have some good news? I'm not going to tell anyone. You can tell people, but I do believe you did. Great to see me on the Confident Live Marketing Chat Show, which is, by the way, Ian Anderson Gray's live podcast that he records. And yes, I was on that yesterday. It was his 100th show. I do some work with Ian, so it was great to be on that show. Now, my iPad has gone to sleep, so let's have a look at Rob.
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on Peter Kay's Car Share. BAFTA award-winning, I've got to say, but I've not seen the BAFTA yet. Anyway, you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Enjoy. I'm on tea. Shh.
How do you persuade someone to sign up for your product or service or for something if they don't really want to? This is a problem that Facebook has had to deal with twice recently. Firstly, with Facebook itself and the new Apple iOS, which is going to affect the way that they can track people. So people will actually have to say, yes, I want Facebook to track me on the web if they're on mobile. And secondly, with WhatsApp, because of course they are trying to get people to sign up to the new privacy policy and people really don't want to. So how do you react? This week, Facebook has adapted, I'm going to say, to some of the things that are going to happen with the first thing there, the iOS update. So if you missed my show on this means basically on an Apple device, like a phone or an iPad, not on a computer, but on a device, when you click into the app, it's going to say, do you want Facebook to track you? And we're imagining that obviously most people are going to say, no, I don't want that. So they have taken one of the features is actually part of this update from Apple, which is they are allowed to get a screen to explain why they want that data. And this is the screen that they prepared. And I think it's not bad. You know, they're trying their best to get people to sign up. And I think it's really interesting from a marketing point of view because they're really tapping into here what they think the key selling point of you giving your data to Facebook is. Aside for getting personalized ads, and that is to support small business. I think it's a really interesting tack from Facebook, and that is the angle that they're going in. And I think when we want to be persuasive like this, do I think this is going to work? Firstly, maybe a little bit, probably not that much, but it is interesting to see their tack that they're talking about how you could feel good by helping someone else. They're showing you what is in it for you, not what's in it for Apple. So it's a nice little piece of marketing from them. I do hope that from my point of view as an advertiser, that some Apple users will opt in to be tracked. Will I? I'm a little bit undecided at the moment, but it's good to see that they are tackling this issue as well as going out there and saying this is a bad thing. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing looking after people's privacy, but I can see their point of view that this was lumped on them. There was no discussion. Katie says, yes, she won. I am so jealous. Katie, who watches this show, won the big prize on Ian Anderson Gray's show last night, which is basically everything you could want and more for live streaming. Like, I couldn't even enter because I'm part of the team. Congratulations to Katie. Don't forget, if you want a copy of this lovely newspaper I've prepared for you, let me know what's in your mug. Katie's drinking Earl Grey decaf. I need the caffeine, Katie. I need the caffeine. I can't be doing that. Or let me know, even if you haven't, I'd like to know, have you ever considered a Wikipedia listing for your business? And why I'm asking that will become very obvious at the end of the show.
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
The last thing that you want when you are running a happy, cheerful ad on Facebook is it to appear next to something that is about death or war or COVID-19, right? Right? So Facebook are actually going to give us the option now to exclude topics that we want our ads to appear next to, because of course if you've got your happy clappy ad next to something like that, it makes you look completely insensitive. It's a very bad for your business. So they are adding these topic exclusions. What's interesting about this is I think this is already part of YouTube advertising, which I've been looking into this week. I'm not sure it's part of Google ads. It seems that they're late to the party. In their statement, they mentioned one topic that you will be able to exclude, which is some crime and tragedy. You'll be able to exclude your post being next to crime and tragedy. And I suppose there is going to be a case where you may not want to exclude that, but I can't think anyone would specifically want to include it. I'm also wondering what other topics will appear here, because on YouTube advertising, you can exclude right-wing politics, left-wing politics, all politics. Is that something Facebook will do, or is that too much of a hot topic for Facebook? What other things might you want to? Maybe you don't want your product for children appearing next to something that is slightly adult content. I know it's not prevalent on Facebook, but still, I'm going to be really interested to see what's on this topic list. Of course, it's good news for advertisers because, like I say, from a marketing point of view, it's not good for your ads to appear next to something like this.
This is May King from The FOMO Creator, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
I pressed that button too early. I saw someone was watching on YouTube and almost fell off my chair. Hello to Deirdre. Thank you for joining me on YouTube. Great to see you here live. And if you are watching on YouTube, do let me know. I got distracted, so I am going to press that button again and we'll see May King again, which is always a good thing.
This is May King from The FOMO Creator, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
There's a tactic on Instagram that can work really well, because let's just talk about Instagram for a minute. Some people will only go and look at the feed on Instagram, and I know some of the viewers here are those people. Some people will only look at stories. So if you want to maximize the reach of your feed posts, what a lot of people will do is they will share that into their story. They'll put like a little mask on top of it so you can't see what it is, and that should encourage more people through to your feed to see that post. And that's a tactic that's been used for a long time. A lot of businesses are using it. Another way we may share feed posts is, because you can share feed posts from other people, is to give a shout out to people, to showcase user generated content, to compliment a business that you've been working with. I mean, there's so many different ways sharing a feed post to your stories is a good thing. And of course, it's the only way you can legitimately share someone else's content on Instagram. So you're not breaking their copyright by sharing that way, which a lot of the other reshare tools, you know, it's not legit for Instagram, and really you need to be careful about copyright, but that's a whole other thing. This week, Instagram are testing not allowing you to share feed posts into stories anymore. Now, it's unclear at the moment, is this all feed posts or is it just your own? because I can see the case for it being just your own. I am a lazy Instagrammer. When I post something on my feed, I go, "Nah, I might as well share that to my story as well." So I will. It's lazy. It's probably not great content for people to look at. It also means that people may click away out of stories into the feed, which means Instagram are losing that nice little traction of you looking through stories and seeing ads. Well, that's my guess anyway. But also, it's not really valuable, is it? If it's just one post with a story. So I can see the thinking behind it, but I would miss this feature. As I said, it's unclear. Is it just your story your post you won't be able to share to a story, or will this mean any feed post? So you will no longer be able to showcase your user generated content this way. I don't think it's a good thing, but I can see why they're doing it. What are your thoughts on this?
Hi, I'm Carmel Siri and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Tell me, have you ever accidentally deleted an Instagram post, a reel, an IGTV, or a story? Maybe you haven't. Maybe you deleted it deliberately because maybe you got some negative comments and you thought, I'd just get this away. It'll stop all that happening. You know, there could be lots of reasons that you decided to delete it and later on went, was that a good idea? And I imagine if you are a social media manager, that is something that is more likely to happen to you, that you accidentally delete instead of archiving. Of course, archiving means that you can keep it and restore it whenever you want. Well, Instagram are dealing with this problem. They are adding a recently deleted folder to your account. So if you delete something, it is going to stay in that folder, much like it does on your mobile phone, for 30 days. 30 days. That is if it's a feed post, if it's an IGTV, or if it's a reel. If it's a story, it's only going to stay 24 hours, but that makes sense because the stories are gone within 24 hours. So sometimes when you delete something, you may suddenly realize that you've messed up your whole feed design. So you want to restore it. This is going to give you the opportunity to do that for up to 30 days. So for social media managers, this could be good because it is easy when you're working fast to delete the wrong thing. And I do also think it's going to be good for any of us that have that sudden, I'm going to delete everything. There seems to be this thing where people deleting all their old feed posts at the moment. And I'm kind of like, I don't know why you'd do that. But hey, that's another thing to talk about. Katie says she is still trying to work out Insta. Lee is here. Hello, Lee. Sorry I'm late to the party. Here with a coffee after doing my private exercise class. You, like as Katie says, rightly says, you are very healthy this morning. Good, good.
You're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
You know what? I think Pinterest wants to be a place where you go and find influencers to work with. I do. They've done quite a lot of stuff recently to showcase influencers. They call them creators. We know what they mean, influencers on the platform. And they have just launched something new that is also going to be pushing the profile of creators on the platform. And that is Pinterest Stories. Pinterest Stories. Stories are everywhere now. What is different about Pinterest Stories? Well, firstly, you'll notice in this example here that when you go in, they look like stories. They're little videos. You can put a little bit text over the top, but they swipe up rather than swiping across. So this is more like TikTok than stories. And also those little videos can become pins that stay forever. It's not a 24-hour thing. You can pin these to a board, which means each individual element of the story has to tell the full story in itself. This isn't like Instagram stories where you could tell your story over 3 or 4 different posts. It's going to be just these individual elements. So you're going to be able to watch them. News stories will appear every day, but they don't just last 24 hours. They become a part of the Pinterest ecosystem. And the more that Pinterest feature creators in this way, the more it's going to start to become an influencer platform, which makes sense because it is full of style. What do you call it when you dress well? People who dress well and can show you how to dress well. It's full of those people. It's full of interior designers. It's full of creatives. So this could be a real opportunity, a bit like Instagram, but maybe on a more professional level to connect with influencers. Wow, that's a question. Sorry, I'm not going to guess how to spell your name because I'll get it completely wrong. What's the best process to get clients from LinkedIn? Well, hopefully soon on YouTube, I will be interviewing. I'm setting up an interview series, so there will be something on LinkedIn. I don't want to say who or when because it's still in the planning stage, but we will talk about that then. Yes, needs must, Katie. That's about Lee getting healthy this morning before she joins my show. So Lee is the most healthy person in the room. Unless, Katie, did you do any exercise this morning already? What about you, Kate? Anyone else? Derbler? Okay, I'll move on with the news.
Hi, I'm Catherine Mason and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
It is February of 2021 and you know what? It's okay if you haven't prepared your entire content calendar for the year yet. And Twitter know this because they've only just launched their calendar for 2021, and their calendar is a good thing to look at if you want to prepare content in advance. What it is, it's basically a page that you can go to. It's interactive, which has the whole year of big events planned out. It's got a global one, so you can go through and you can look at what's happening globally. So there'll be the big festivals like Easter and Diwali. Am I saying that right? But also some smaller ones, sporting events, things like the Golden Globes and the Oscars. All of these are trends that you can start preparing for now to tap into. You can also filter it by location. So I know we're a small country. We shouldn't complain. There is nothing for Ireland, but there is something for the UK, which is closer. So definitely worth looking through that and planning out some of those big events that maybe you could create content around, maybe you could piggytail on that would be relevant to your business. I will post the link for that underneath shortly. I'm just looking at Lee's comment and I don't quite understand it. So Abu, you keep asking me questions that I am unable to answer on the news show, but I'm sure we will answer them again in the future.
Hi, I'm Catherine Mason and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Not one of you has answered my question. Have you got a Wikipedia listing? Have you ever thought of getting a Wikipedia listing? Google is about to add something new to search results. And that new thing is context. Let me explain why. If you are searching on the web and you find a search listing and it's from a business you have never heard of, you may be a little bit cautious. You may just want to go for one of the big businesses that you have heard of, or maybe you want to go for that smaller business, but you don't really know. Is it trustworthy? What happens when I click through? People get nervous of clicking now. I blame social media. So either they click and they click away really quickly. They click and they have a look and they try and get the information. Are you good enough? Very quickly. Or they will just scroll by until they find a business they recognize. So this new thing in your Google search results will actually, what's going to happen is you can click on the three little dots at the side of a search listing and it will bring up the Wikipedia listing for that business, which means straight away somebody is able to know a little bit more about that business. Are they relevant? Are they trustworthy? If you don't have a Wikipedia listing, it will just bring up things like when the website was established and anything else it finds online. So I do think right now it's going to be a good idea to investigate adding a Wikipedia listing, just so there is proper information coming up on that page. Now, I am no Wikipedia expert. I know it can be done. Kate, who's watching the show, shared an article with me from HubSpot earlier in the week about how you go about this. I think the main thing is to keep an eye on that listing, because cheeky people may come and edit it and put some weird stuff in that isn't relevant. But it looks like this will mean less people will scroll by, less people will click and go away again really quickly. But when they do click, they're going to be more relevant because they may have already done their research into your business. So I think this is a real positive from Google. Katie says that's a great idea from Wikipedia. I think I've come to the end of the news and I don't feel like I talked about 7 things. So I'm just going to, I did. Wow, that's flown this week. Next week, I am going to open with some chatbot news, which I know Lee will be very excited about. Sasha sent it to me yesterday, but I'm in the middle of a really big project and I didn't have time to research it properly. But it does mean you could soon be getting a notification about this show again, which means everyone will come back and watch live, which I'm really excited about. But until I research into that deeper, I don't want to tell you any more. That is a quick teaser. We will be opening the show on that next week, so don't forget to tune in. Thank you for joining me this week. I will be back. I will be back. Same bat time, same bat place next week. See you then.